You mean I've been talking to myself this whole time? Well, hello. Oh, good times. Dang. All right, well, I'm here now, I guess, now, including my voice. But I was just saying that we met Maho, we met Leskinen, and we had this like very nice conversation about Kurisu with Maho, which I think built quite a bit of rapport with Maho, and I mean, you know, earned us the possibility to test with Amadeus, which now we learn contained the memory of Kurisu. So that's going to be very exciting. We might be able to reunite with Kurisu. Like, I imagine that's how she appears in his war line, because after all, the main menu of the game, right, still shows Kurisu there. So let us see. All right, where were we before? Several days passed after the ATF party, 10 minutes from Ikebukuro via the express train, and then 10 minutes by the bus from a station called Wako City in Saitama. The office I was looking for was on the second floor of a building right next to Riken. Riken was a research institute, I believe. Global Brain Science Comprehensive Research Organization, Japanese office prep room. That was what the plate on the door say. To get in, you needed 3 types of special keys plus a security club card.
各国の脳科学研究者が連携をして新しい機構を作る予定なの。私たちの研究所が主導してね。
She let me inside. This is Maho. Maho is a tiny looking girl who is apparently 3 years older than we are. The mysterious Skittles have at last appeared in Akihabara. Nya. What? Tell us more, Ferris. You haven't heard of the ancient urban legends of Akihabara, Nya? I know about a few of them, but the Skittles are new to me. If a group of 3 people sits in the back seat of a certain maid cafe, they appear, or so they say, Nya. Oh, she's the kind to spam stickers. Okay. No one ever knew which maid cafe it was. Until now, Nya. It's May Queen, Nya. Is everything okay? Everything is fine, Nya. They just join your game in the middle of a raid and still kill all the mobs, Nya. Hang on a second. That's how we avoid talking with Ferris, I guess. The office must have been newly rented. Most of the desks were still empty, showing no signs of ever having been used. There wasn't even a whiteboard, which made the room look even more empty. There wasn't a lot of natural light. Maybe the windows were on the north side? Only illumination was from the overhead fluorescent lights. The room felt very cold.
ここはあくまでも準備室だから。
Sterile. Interesting. Working with the brain, I suppose that would make sense. Sorry if you've noticed this before, just mentioning it because I had no idea until halfway in my playthrough. Okay, go ahead. What's up? Some messages have options on phone. I think it's when the right arrow shows up. Oh, like when this one lights up? Oh, like so we can actually respond something. Hi, Lenya. How are you doing? Okay, I'll keep that in mind. You're a dummy. If you had extended your stream, you could read it. It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry about it. I know you have to stop, so you do whatever you need to do, Linnea. Don't worry about it at all. The important thing is that you're here, and you are, so that's what matters. But only when it's that turn. It's the improved blue underline mail reply. I suppose. But that also means that we won't get options, right? As to what to respond with. So. No one was sitting at any of the desks, but 2 of them had stuff on them. One of them was a mess filled with notes, calculators, coffee cups, and supplement bottles. That was the one Maho sat down at. Which meant the one that was neatly organized must belong to Dr. Laskinen, right?
教授は
There are options? We'll test it out when it shows up next time. Yeah, exactly. Because it's hard to, I'm sure it's hard to explain without seeing it.
今日はオフ。
So it's clean not because he is organized. It's clean because he's never here. Is that it? Well, it was Sunday.
君も
ええ。そうじゃなかったら昼過ぎまで寝ていられるわけないでしょ。
Sleeping past noon? What a luxury. That's true. When I'd gone to pick her up from her hotel in Wako City, she'd come out of the room half asleep. This was the day that I was to meet Amadeus Kurisu. It's like Am-a-deuce. Maho had gone over the basics of being a tester on the way here. Essentially, Amadeus needed sample data for conversations, and they were going to give me an environment where I could talk to it at any time 24 hours a day. Are we gonna be able to like download her to our phone? Much like Soma, like how we had Catherine on the swiper. She didn't give me any details beyond that though. So I'll be able to talk to Amadeus Kurisu 24 hours a day, huh?
あいつはクリスのアマデウスはここにいるのか
ええ。
Maho nodded and gave me a glance.
あいつと呼んだわよね、今。
ああ
It was very informal, I think.
私が思っているよりもずっと親しかったのね、あなたたち。
Maybe my silence was an answer in itself. Oh, there we go. We can test this. All right. Okabe-san, may I have a moment of your time? Not today. Oh my gosh, cold. I see. So now we can tab left and right for different responses. I'm meeting someone right now. Is it important? Is it important? No, it's not that important. Can it wait then? Alright, I'll contact you later. Sorry. No, please don't worry about it. Oh, I want that Mayuri sticker. I can't be the only one. That is way too cute. What? No way. Oh. Maho's response was uncharacteristically hesitant.
だとしたら会うのはやめた方がいいかもしれないわよ。
どうしてだ
相手が親しい人であればあるほど あのシステムは残酷だと思うから。
Linnea, you should check out the redeems really quick. I have a surprise for you in there.
大丈夫だ。
わかった。もう言わない。その代わり一つ覚えておいて。ロードする記憶はクリスが最後に更新をした3月のデータをベースにしたものよ。だから3月以降、例えば彼女が日本に留学していた時のことを聞いても全く通じない。
So we have to. Are we gonna go through the whole process of breaking Kuris's walls again and get closer with her? Ah, that's gonna be sweet. That's right, isn't it?
それに3月から今日までの間に私や教授が何度も起動してしまっているから、その度にクリスは、アマデウスの方のクリスね。彼女は元のクリスとは違う記憶を蓄積しているわ。私たちが聞かせた話、ネットで検索した情報、新しく会話を交わした人たち、そういったものをね。つまりこれから会うのはあなたの友人だったマキセ・クリスではないということ。
But how much could she? Well, I suppose from March to November, that is quite a long time.
このシステムの問題点の一つなんだけれど、往々にしてこちら側、つまり人間の方が混乱してしまうのよ。まるで本当のクリスと今この瞬間にチャットでもしているような錯覚に陥るから。
However, so don't get reality and fantasy mixed up, I guess.
共有できていない記憶の齟齬に関してこちらの脳がついていけなくなってしまうのね。
Memories that aren't shared. Now, there is a feeling I knew well. Oh gosh. Reading Steiner, there was a power only I possessed, which made my memories different than those of the people around me.
案内してくれ。
Maho gave me a slight nod.
こっちよ。
She led me to the back of the room. There was a booth separated by a thick partition. To get inside the booth, you needed a different car key than the one used to get into the room, as well as a security code.
随分厳重なんだな。
今の時代、産業スパイが一番恐ろしいの。どうぞ。
The room was about 2.5 meters per side. At one end was a white desk, and above it a PC with a built-in 30-inch screen monitor.
少しだけ後ろに座っていて。
There was a small sofa that let you sit behind the user and see what was happening on the screen. I sat there. Maho powered on the PC and began to type. Salary. Huh. A second later, the words Amadeus system appeared on screen. I saw her put the ID in. Salary. Alright, what could it mean? Or Salieri, perhaps? Antonio Salieri, 1750 to 1825, an Italian composer who lived in the same time as Mozart. Salieri was court composer at Vienna for many years and taught many famous composers like Beethoven, Schubert, and Liszt. Okay. Salieri. No, Salieri. 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 Where's the stress? Salieri? Salieri? And Amadeus. Amadeus? My friend who knows Latin. Is it Salieri? Salieri? Oh my gosh. Sally. The stress is an airy. Salieri. Is that better? Salieri? Salieri? Salieri. Wow, I can't. I need to find it. I think I just went through like 4 different variations there. Salieri. Okay. And then Amadeus? Amadeus? Latin for beloved of God, and the middle name of Austrian composer Mozart. There's also a play about Mozart that shares the same name, which went on to receive a movie adaptation. There's a movie? I should know. Was there some meaning to that? Come to think of it, in a famous movie, Amadeus, there was a character who was spiteful and jealous of Mozart's incredible talents, but who, in the bottom of his heart, admired him more than anyone else. That character's name, oh gosh, was Salieri.
パスワードは見ないで。
Maho moved her body to hide her hands. I looked away. She finished logging into the system. A simple bare command prompt appeared on
準備
screen.
はいい？
ああ、頼む。
Maho entered several commands at the prompt.
ごめんなさい。ここはちょっと見せられないの。
まあ、俺が見たところでさっぱりだけどな。
Oh my gosh, it's the end of an era. I think Okabe is embracing that suit now. He's not going to go back to the lab coat anymore. So this is the black Okarin.
でも一応ね。
She turned off the monitor. Then she spun around to face me. I suddenly realized I was clenching my fists. How long had I been doing that? My hands were sweaty, and there was a red spot at the base of my thumb where my nails had dug in. Was I more nervous than I realized? Of course you are.
どうしたの？
あ、いや、今になってちょっとおじけづいてきた。
Oh. Okay, it's kind of sweet. Just kind of.
まだ間に合うわよ。今すぐここから出ていけばいいわ。
意地が悪いな。
そう？あなたのこと心配してあげてるのに。
だったらもう少しそれらしい言い方をした方がいい。クリスといい君といい実験大好きっ子は。
For a second, the old joking me was about to come back. Let him out! I quickly changed the
実
subject.
験ばかりに明け暮れているやつは可愛げがない。
今の発言は明らかに誹謗中傷ね。侮辱罪で訴えてあげてもいいわ。
やめてくれ、恐ろしい。
いい弁護士を知っているから紹介してあげましょうか。
その前に告訴を取り下げてくれ。
示談に持ち込もうというのなら、それ相応の金額は覚悟することね。
It's still there, right? They're having a small banter,
後で
so
毒ペンをおごるから。
and the love for Dr. P hasn't changed. Phenomenal. I knew some things aren't gonna change. Dr. P, an abbreviation for a type of carbonated beverage first served in America during the 1800s. At present, it's only available in eastern Japan and a few other small areas. It has a very unique taste, and its secret recipe is a combination of over 20 flavors. Mozart, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, 1756 to 1791, an Austrian composer. Along with Haydn and Beethoven, Mozart is one of the world's most famous classical composers. He began to write songs at the age of 5 and left behind over 600 masterpieces. Nowadays, he is often heralded as a genius, and there are many stories told about him.
安い。
I hear a small sound from the back of her throat. I guess she was laughing. Normally, I'd find that irritating, but strangely, coming from the girl in front of me, no, she was a grown woman actually, I didn't. Hyazo Maho was very strong-willed, with a prickliness and short temper unique to scientists. She always seemed to be a little upset about something. But maybe she wasn't that bad. Oh, I see. Maho, she's a lot like Kurisu. No! Our lost love. When I first met Kurisu, she was like that. Arrogant, rude, never willing to change her mind, stubborn, hard-headed, and always ready to confront you with raised eyebrows whenever you said something she didn't like. I truly thought I'd never seen a more unlikable woman. But despite my first impression, on the inside she turned out to be fragile, easily hurt, and so kind and so lovable.
何がおかしいんです、先輩。
I suddenly heard a girl's voice from the speaker. I found myself jumping off the sofa. I knew this voice. It's Kurisu. I couldn't forget it. I could never. Maho turned on the monitor. She looks younger? I don't know. Was there like a stylistic change between Steingate and Zero? Feels that way. The girl I'd never forgotten appeared on the screen. Maybe it was based off her appearance at the brain science lab, because she was wearing a white lab coat. The PC's camera turned towards me on its own.
先輩、そちらの方は。
She is using like very formal language. So a little Japanese thing. Previously, you know how Maho was like, oh, you used she, you guys must have been close. Because the word that Okabe was using was koitsu. So I think it's koitsu. So it's like that dude or that. It's very, very slangy and very informal. And Kurisu just now used sochira no kata, which is like not very formal, but quite formal, and like often used for people who you don't know or could be sort of a social status that's higher than you. That's gonna break his heart. Maho was introducing me, but I didn't hear anything she was saying. I simply stared, entranced. I wanted to reach out my hands. I wanted to touch her. She was right there.
岡部倫太郎さん。はじめまして。牧瀬クリスです。
She looks so small.
どうぞよろしく。
All right, enjoy the opening. Demon Girl? Nah, you saw Naya, didn't you? I wasn't paying attention, but what a banger. What a banger. I think it's gonna grow on me. Part of me, I'm still like...
さあ、岡部さん。リラックスしてください。
I'm still slowly sort of unwinding from Steins Gate. So I think there are times when I'm going to compare the two, but I don't think it's an apt comparison because in one we've seen the whole story, right? And if you were to ask me to give like a assessment of how much I liked the game of Steins Gate within the first 2 chapters, it would not be that high. So I'm warming up to Steins Gate 0, and so far, so good. He is seeing a psychologist. Good job, Okabe. Love you.
あなたは私の声を架け橋として過去へと降りていきます。どんどん降りていって、やがて柔らかい色をした光が見えてきます。
I was dreaming. Daydreaming. I was aware that I was lying on a big sofa, undergoing counseling. I tried my best to stay calm and imagine what the psychologist was telling me.
その光は何色に見えますか？
赤。
赤ですか。なるほど。その光の中にあなたの大切な人が立っています。その人はあなたの家族でしょうか？
いや。
では友人？それとも恋人？
恋人。いや。恋人じゃない。友人ですらない。
Oh, we're trying to reconcile to the
では
fact
どうい
that
う？
俺とあいつは
memories came flooding back into my mind like geyser. Gazer?
ちょっと来てくれませんか？ 椎名真由里は必要ない。話して。あんたがタイムリープしたのは分かってる。真由里を助けて。ベータ世界線へ行きなさい。真由里が死なない世界へ。それがあんたのためでもあるし、私のためでもある。岡部は私のこと覚えててくれる？
Did they change voice actress on Kurisu? Or is my memory just deceiving me?
私死ぬのかな。死にたくないよ。
Oh boy.
岡部さん、
俺が刺した。俺が
いいですか？私があなたの肩を叩きます。それを合図に意識がはっきりしてきますから。3、2、1、はい。
There was a loud sound. Then I felt an impact on my shoulders. Kurisu's suffering face disappeared instantly, and I could feel my consciousness awakening. Oh. I stood up off the sofa. I felt dizzy and almost fell over.
大丈夫ですか？少し休んでいてください。今タオルを持ってきますから。
The psychologist left the room. I realized I was soaked in sweat. The air conditioner was working, so I could tell it wasn't from the heat. It was the first time I'd tried hypnotherapy at a mental health clinic. My body felt strangely heavy. Alright. Hypnotherapy. A method of therapy in which the patient is placed in a hypnotic state, and the therapist acts directly on their subconscious mind in order to soothe the psychological traumas that led to their mental illness. In Japan, there's no official government certification systems for hypnotherapy, but therapeutic associations do offer their own certifications. When I go outside, it was night. It was almost December and the wind was cold.
どうだったオカリン。
She looks so huggable and she's pink now. What? I kind of miss like the I do kind of miss the like the sea green, you know, color that she had before, but this is cute too. It is winter Mayuri. Like white and pink. If it was red, it would be perfect for Christmas, right? Sina Mayuri asked me gently. Mayuri was a high school student and my childhood friend. She had come with me to counseling today. The best supportive friend. I told her I didn't need her to, but she had left school early to come. All I ever did was make her worry. Around 3 months ago, my one obsession had been saving her. To me, she had always been someone I had to protect. And now she was worried about me. It was only because of Mayuri's recommendation that I had tried counseling. Oh yeah, see, we have Kurisu on the phone now. Got a sec, Uncle Okarin? So Suzuha never went back. But I refuse. Daga kotowaru. Oh. Okay. Listen, what do you think I should do about mom and dad? Who is mom? What do you mean? I just can't see them getting together like this. Well, you're right. Uncle Karin, is there anything you can do? She wants to ensure that she gets born, which is very understandable. You know, there's nothing I can do to help with that. You're right, yeah. It kind of hurts that you just gave up that easily. It doesn't seem to be your kind of thing, Uncle. Like a boss. Anything we can do, Amadeus? Nothing. Alright.
まあ、大したことないってさ。
I told her a small lie to make her feel better. In actuality, they had told me I had suffered serious trauma. They'd stopped the hypnotherapy and given me a course of counseling and drugs. Now they wanted to wait to see the results. Basically, they decided where there was nothing to do but to treat my symptoms and wait for it to heal naturally. I couldn't tell if Maho had shown me yesterday. I can't tell if what Maho had shown me yesterday was having an effect. I underwent treatment without telling the psychologist about the time machine, or the word lines, or most of the things that had happened. So maybe there was no way for them to make the proper diagnosis. In any event, I decided not to think too much about the results.
なあ、まゆり。夕飯、これからだろ。何か食べに行くか。おごるぞ。
Is it dinner time? What are we gonna have?
ああ、それなら秋葉原に行ってもいいかな。ルカ君とフェリスちゃんがね、久々にオカリンに会いたいって。
That's right, we haven't gone to the lab in forever. Akihabara, huh? The clinic was within walking distance of my house. Akihabara was much further away. But even so, I couldn't turn down Mayuri's request. Oh no, so sad. Until the events of the summer, I had gone there almost every day. In fact, I'd practically lived there. Lately, I only went 3 times a week at absolute most. And then only to go shopping on the way home from school. We went out into the plaza in front of the station. Just like in Ikebukuro. Even though it was only a month until Christmas, there were barely any decorations. I was sure the whole place would be covered in them the minute it was December 1st. Eventually, I was sure to see maids in Santa outfits.
秋葉原でチラシを配るサンタ服を着たメイドか。
Akihabara could be really weird.
ああ、フェリスちゃんとルカ君だ。てってるー。
Some things never change. Okay, so everyone is embracing this like red-pink theme. And Ferris is very over the top with her catness now. You're embracing the tutturu? Embrace it. There's a reason why I added it as a what is it? A redeem.
岡部さん、まゆりちゃん。
Ferris and Luca must have been waiting. They ran over as soon as they saw us. You hadn't seen it. Yeah, it's here. And yes, I don't know if I told you, but subs now have walk-ons, so if you want to set your walk-on as that would be fine by me too. Set it to whatever you want, but it's an option now. Ferris Nyan Nyan jumped at me without the slightest hesitation. Is it just me or is her hair like pinker than before? I feel like they changed character shading a little bit. She was a maid, and Ferris wasn't her real name. I knew her real name, but if I didn't call her Ferris at all times, even when she wasn't working, she'd get mad at me. She was wearing the same outfit she always wore, her work clothes from her job at the maid cafe May Queens plus Nyan Square. May Queens plus Nyan Nyan. There we go. Was May Queen going to switch to Santa outfit soon?
やめろよ。みんな見てるだろ。
Why are we so normal? Oh. I tried to pull Ferris off me, but it wasn't working. Maybe I should just steal the cat ears off her instead.
いいじゃないかにゃ。京馬とフェイリスの中だにゃ。
Everything, all that matters right meow is Ferris and Kyoma. Oh.
よくない。あと、京馬っていうのもやめてくれって。
No, embrace it. Why?
なんで
Nyande. So the Japanese word for why is nande, and this is a play of word.
あの名前は黒歴史だからだ。
My dark past. We all have a dark past that we do not speak of. Dark past, an internet net slang, an embarrassing part of your history that you would rather not talk about, and that you wish was forgotten. Its origin can be found in a certain famous mecha anime. Ferris looked upset, but I decided to ignore her. Houn Kyoma was part of the past I had sealed away. I decided to pretend he never existed. He had meddled with the forbidden invention called the time machine, and as a result, the systems that ruled the world had punished him. He dashed the hopes of many, lost the life of someone he cared for, and his heart had suffered grievous wounds. He must never be awakened again. I didn't need him anymore.
じゃあ、なんて呼べばいいのかにゃ。
そりゃあ、岡部とか。
やっぱり、オカリンって呼ぶのが可愛くていいんじゃないかな。ねえ、フェリスちゃん。
It is. Okarin is adorable. By the way, Ferris is what Mayuri calls Ferris. She claims it was easier to pronounce, or something like that.
マユシーが言うなら、これからそう呼ぶにゃ。なんだか違和感あるけど。
She looked unsatisfied, but she backed away.
ルカ子も久しぶりだな。
He is so pretty. Like, I like the fact that he's fully embracing his figure. It's great.
はい。
Okay, never mind. Still a shy little one. Lukako smiled happily. He always looks as beautiful as a pretty girl, but he's a guy. He was a classmate of Mayuri's and could often been seen helping at the Yanabayashi shrine where his family lived. Yanabayashi Shrine, a shrine in Akihabara. Yanabayashi Shrine is located on the other side of Kanda River. To find it, enter the first side road after crossing Manseibashi Bridge, and then when you reach a gate, go through it, and it'll be right along the river. Home to many stray cats, as well as Urusibara Ruka. I probably shouldn't call him Rukako. Just like I told Ferris not to call me Kyoma. He had his own name, Urishibara Ruka. But calling Rukako Ruka after all this time, that would be really embarrassing.
なんだかとても懐かしいような気がします。僕時々ラボに顔を出すんですけど、岡部さん最近あんまり来ていませんよね。
ああ。
Because it brings back memories.
大学のゼミが忙しいんだ。ATF の準備もあったしな。
Even after that was done, I've been busy with Maho and Dr. Leskinen, and then Amadeus. I hadn't had a chance to rest. Oh, look at them. But I avoided mentioning that to them.
あと、サークル活動もしてるしな。
サークルに入ったんですか？
何のサークルかにゃ？やっぱり UFO とかユーマとか。
Yuma? What is that? Alright, let's start with UFO. Short for unidentified flying object, usually used to refer to spacecraft piloted by aliens. This term actually describes any kind of flying objects whose nature is unknown. UMA, short for unidentified mysterious animal, a creature whose existence has not been confirmed by science. Examples include the Loch Ness Monster, the Yeti, or the Japanese kappa and Tsuchinoko. Despite the term being English, it was invented by the Japanese, therefore no one outside of Japan will recognize it. Fair? Accurate? Who do you guys think I am? Honkyoma, that's why. I guess I hadn't told them then. Mayuri, I'm pretty sure I told her. As the two of them looked at me with wide eyes, I cracked a knowing smile and puffed out my chest.
テニスサークルだ。
How normal of you, Okabe. I'm severely disappointed. The people around us all turned to stare at Ferris and Luca.
なんでテニスサークルなのかにゃ？
岡部さん、今までテニスなんてやってましたっけ？
初心者に決まっているだろう。
I may not look it, but I'm terrible at sports. You do look like you would be terrible at sports, Okarin. I'm confident I lose to Mayuri at distance running.
じゃあにゃんで？
話せば長くなるんだが。大学のゼミの准教授がテニスサークルの顧問なんだ。それで勧誘された。
一つも長くないにゃ。
Who told him it doesn't look like it? I don't know.
いや、まあ聞けって。相手は一応世話になっている人だし、サークルに顔を出してみたんだ。
He's like very lanky and skinny, I feel like. Just getting blown away by the wind kind of boy.
はあ。
そうしたら、なんと俺にはテニスの才能があるらしくてな。初心者にもかかわらず、会員相手に連戦連勝だったんだ。
Okay, I don't believe that. I don't know. That's very untrustworthy.
どうだ、大したもんだろ。
はあ。
Rukako, no, don't blush and don't fall for it. He's lying. He can't be serious.
岡部さんってやっぱりすごいです。
Oh no. He's a simp. Ruka is a simp.
こんなことならプロテニスプレイヤーを目指しておけばよかったかな。
目指せウィンブルドンだね。
どうしたフェイリス、頭でも痛いのか？
どこからどう突っ込めばいいのやら。 どう考えてもサークルの会員数を増やすための罠じゃないかにゃ。
いや、はっきり言うなよ。俺もうすうすそうじゃないかと思ってたけど、考えないようにしてるんだから。
I see. So what Ferris is suggesting is like everyone at the club is losing to him on purpose to try to get him to stay.
でもみんないい人ばっかりなんだぞ。
That's kind of nice.
じゃあサークルの練習が忙しいんですね。
いや、練習はあんまりしてないかな。
はい。
じゃあ一体何してるにゃ？
合コンとか。
合コン? Why? You're like what, 20? Why are you going to these things? I'm glad I'm not the only one. Their shouts filled the whole street, and once again people turn around to stare.
そんなに驚くことないだろう。俺だって普通の大学生なんだから。
Oh, I see. Not that kind of matchmaking. Okay. All right. So it's just like, you know, when friends and friends say, like, boy and girl meet, right? And they become friends. It's natural for them to like bring their circles of friends and like try to set people up. Not like intentionally with pairs, but just like, hey, like, why don't your friends meet my friends? Or like, you know, in terms of extracurricular activities, sometimes they do that too, right? Like if a club is generally geared towards boys and another club is geared towards girls, sometimes they would have like, let's do something together and let like the curious college kids, you know, get to know each other and maybe love will blossom kind of thing. But that's so weird. It's so weird. Like, Okarin, no.
そうですよね。すみません。でも、
Luca was fidgeting like he wanted to say something.
フェイリスというものがありながら他の女の子たちと楽しく合コン許せないにゃ。
勘違いするなよ。俺は女の子なんか別に。
Okarin, so that's why you've been hanging out with Daru this whole time? And that's why Suzuha is worried about Daru and making sure that she is born in the future? In fact, I went along with the rest of the club, but there wasn't any place for a wannabe normie like myself. Aw. People who find happiness and fulfillment in the real world. Markers of normie include having lots of friends, having a girlfriend or boyfriend, participating in club or school activities, going to parties regularly, vacationing overseas, and displaying a lack of interest in 2D entertainment. Okay, not a normie. I'm not a normie. There was no way I could keep up with the conversations that the, well, normal normies had. While the other men and women were having fun, I would just kind of sit there. A matchmaking party was a challenge far beyond my capabilities. I wasn't going to tell Ferris and Luca that, though.
いいなあ。マユシーもオカリンと合コンしたいのです。
Mayuri would be so popular.
何?
Mayuri wanted to do what? Is she old enough? I know her skirt is blue. It's so cute. Is she old enough to be interested in that sort of thing? I feel like Okarin has such a older brother mentality with Mayuri.
だってみんなで楽しくパーティーするんでしょ。
Evidently not.
間違ってはいないけど、なんだか微妙にニュアンスが違う気がするにゃ。場所はラボでいいかな。ルカ君とフェリスちゃんはもちろん参加ね。あとダル君やナエちゃんやスズさんも。
Don't you think, like, the gender balance is really off? Mayuri turned to me with a guilty look. Suzu-san, huh? Amane Suzuha, also known as John Tider, a time traveler from the year 2036, a true warrior who was still fighting even as I was trying my best to give up. I had barely seen her since summer. I was avoiding her. Part of the reason I had stopped going to the lab was that she spent all her time there now. Until a month or so ago, just hearing Suzuha's name was enough to cause flashbacks, and it was all I could do to endure them. Flashback, a symptom of post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. In the case of PTSD, flashbacks are a psychological phenomenon in which patients who have undergone extreme traumas can suddenly find themselves reliving the memories of those experiences, often after experiencing some sort of trigger. These flashbacks can cause symptoms such as heart palpitations, tremors in the hands and feet, and more. After 3 months, I could finally stand to hear her name. But I didn't think I could keep it together if I met her in person. Of course, it wasn't her fault, and I wasn't blaming her. So I didn't want her to blame me. She'd never come out and said it, but when she looked at me with that razor-sharp glint in her eyes, I felt something like guilt.
マユシーね、ダル君と一緒に考えてるオペレーションがあるんだ。
Operation? It sounded like something the old me would have done.
っていうと、どんな作戦かにゃ？
What kind of Norse word are you guys gonna use?
スズさんを笑顔にしよう大作戦。
Oh. Why was Mayuri talking about this out of the blue? No, maybe it wasn't out of the blue. She might have been thinking about it for a long time. So I decided to respond as cheerfully as I could.
聞かせてくれよ、マユリ。
マユシーは思うんだ。スズさんって普段は怖いけど本当はすっごく優しい人なんじゃないかなって。ラボにいる時にね、マユシーがソファーでうとうとしちゃうといつの間にかタオルケットがかかってたりするの。スズさんに聞いてもそんなの知らないとしか言わないんだけど。
Another tsundere.
あ、僕もそういうことありました。以前お父さんに買い物を頼まれて、その帰りに荷物が重くて困っていたんです。そうしたら天音さんが通りかかって何も言わずに持ってくださったんですよ。
へえ、初耳だな。
こんなこと当たり前だから誰にも言うなって。
Oh, she's sweet.
あ、言っちゃいましたけど。
そっか。
I feel like I have never seen this CG. In the Alpha World line, she was a cheerful girl who smiled at everyone. and who loved to go mountain biking. Yes, we remember her bike, right? But in this world line, she wasn't the type who smiled a lot. This was partially due to the way she had grown up. I heard about it third hand from Daru because of the universal conscription program that started after World War III broke out. She'd been forced to undergo military training ever since she was in middle school. And after that, she had joined up with the anti-government forces and gotten caught in a terrible struggle. After that, he said, she never really smiled.
だからね、すずさんを本当の笑顔にしたいのです。
なるほどな。
で、具体的には何をするのかにゃ？クリスマスパーティーだよ。クリスマスパーティー？
We all spoke in unison.
もうすぐクリスマスでしょ。すずさんね、そういうパーティーをやったことがないんだって。だからマユシーはすずさんにそれをプレゼントしようと思ってるんだ。
Ferris and Luca nodded at almost exactly the same time.
その話、乗ったにゃ。
僕も。
ありがとう。オカリンも参加してくれる？
You have no idea how the Japanese celebrate Christmas. So, it's interesting, but in Japan, Christmas often is a romantic holiday. So you celebrate it it's like a couple's holiday. It's not like romantic in its true essence, but it's often spent between couples. So, yeah, it's weird. It's weird. But I feel like everything else is fairly similar. Like, I mean, it's not as big of a deal, obviously, as it is out in the West. So it's not like a whole family dinner and stuff like that. But like, you know, as a couple's holiday, you usually go out to eat with your significant other and then you date a little bit. Like, that's kind of it. So, yeah. Because it's sort of like, it's very standalone, right? Unlike, you know, often in the US, or I trust that might be how it is in Europe as well, where people would have like multiple days off from work because of Christmas. You know, on like most Eastern Asian countries, Christmas, you don't even really get off, right? Like, that's not like a day off kind of thing, usually from the government. It's not a quote-unquote holiday. So it's usually like, oh, you get off work in the evening and then you spend time with your significant other kind of thing.
そうだな。
ダメかな。
Yeah, it's very different. I remember the Christmas that I spent in Japan was like, it was so weird because it's just not that. I mean, yes, there are decorations and you know, everything is like doled up to celebrate Christmas, but it's more for the atmosphere than like the actual celebration. Like the day of, there's really not that much going on.
俺はともかく鈴葉が嫌がるんじゃないか。
I was never going back to the past. I still couldn't forget the look on Suzuha's face when I told her that. It was an expression filled with anger and despair. She must have felt like her last, most desperate hope was crumbling away right in front of her eyes. The words she had said to me then were still sharp thorns lodged in my heart.
鈴葉は俺を嫌ってるし。
I mean, she just texted you about being concerned that her parents wouldn't be together. I feel like if she didn't like you, she wouldn't text you about that kind of stuff. Would she?
マユシーはそうは思わないよ。
Yeah.
すずさんはね、オカリンを怒っちゃったこと後悔してるんじゃないかな。その気持ちを素直に言えないんだと思うのです。
そうだろうか。
I think she's not good at expressing affection.
きっとそうだよ。
I couldn't turn her down after Mayuri said that.
わかった。少し考えてみるよ。
Let's go.
ところで岡部さん。
There was a bit of hesitation in Luca's voice. When isn't there hesitation in Luca's voice?
診察はどうでしたか？
Oh. Evidently, Luca had heard about my counseling from Mayuri. Maybe he'd wanted to see me because he was worried about how it went. I guess I'm making Lukako and Ferris worry too. In this world line, they hadn't joined the lab, but even so, they were still dear friends. Why is join the lab a tip? Lab mems, chunibyo, short for laboratory members. This term refers to official members of the Future Gadget Laboratory, and anyone who's been given this designation has free access to the lab. Lab members are assigned numbers in the order that they joined.
催眠療法というのは初体験だったが、なかなか興味深かったな。俺は今まで催眠術なんかにはかからないと思ってたよ。驚いた。
かかっちゃったんですか？
I feel bad. He's just like lying his way through and making everyone else feel better.
見事にな。
そういうルカニャンも催眠術とかすぐにかかりそうだにゃ。
そんな。
確かに速攻でやられるだろうな。
Ruka would believe anything you told him. Anyway, there was no point in standing around forever. I was getting hungry, and it was time to find some place to eat.
なあ、お前たち何が食べたい？おごるぞ。
We decided to head towards Yodobase. There were a lot of restaurants there, so it was perfect.
やったにゃ。超なじゃなくてオカリン太っ腹にゃん。
I'm gonna miss Kyoma. I hope he makes a comeback later.
ありがとうございます。
何食べようかな。唐揚げかな。
Also, Ferris's hat is just comically large. It is ginormous. I love it. It must be super warm. But it's like her ear, oh my god, her cat ears are just obscenely huge.
ジューシー唐揚げ？
マユシーはそればっかりにゃ。
Mayuri honestly has palate of a child. What's her diet like? She only eats karage, like the fried chicken, and then she eats bananas and oden, and like cup noodles. That's it. I walked behind the three of them, and I thought to myself, what would it be like if Kurisu were here? I tried my hardest for the past few months to not Not to think about her, but was it because of my experience yesterday that I did anyway? The expressions and little mannerisms I had seen yesterday, the voice, the way she had walked, I remembered. I remembered my conversations with her.
岡部倫太郎さん。はじめまして、牧瀬クリスです。どうぞよろしく。
I couldn't respond at all. Something felt slightly off about the way Kurisu moved on the screen. But it was really slight. I get used to it soon. More importantly, the voice and the way she spoke were exactly like the real Kurisu. I almost cried. And it was all I could do to stop from breaking down.
先輩、そちらは深夜というわけではないですよね。
The camera on the PC switched from me to Maho.
ええ、違うけれどなぜ？
お二人とももしかして眠いのではないかと。
Was she talking about the fact that I didn't respond to her introduction?
私はさっきまで寝ていたけれど、今はもうしゃっきり目が覚めているわ。
だらしないのは相変わらずですね。
失礼なことを言わないで。
では先輩、もう一つ質問しても？
ええ、何？
岡部倫太郎さんとはどういう関係ですか？
この前の ATF セミナーに参加してくれた学生よ。なかなか研究熱心だと思ったから連れてきたの。
Maho decided not to tell Amadeus that I was a friend of Kurisu's before she died. Why, I wonder? Did she not want Amadeus to find out? Or was I supposed to tell her myself?
へえ、先輩にそう言われるなんて大したものですね。
The Kurisu on screen turned to me and smiled.
その
Be still, my beating heart. Calm down.
岡部さん、専攻はやはり脳科学ですか？
それは
The words got stuck in my throat. I said, calm down. You know this is just a program. Her words, her appearance, even the conversation she's having with you right now, they're artificial. Even though I knew that, I still couldn't speak. I had no idea what to say. And more than that, the words nice to meet you hit me harder than I thought they would. This wasn't the Kurisu I had spent those 3 weeks with. Maho had told me this ahead of time, and I thought I understood it, but hearing it for myself hurt more than I imagined. I regretted not taking my anxiety meds, but it was too late now. My heart rate soared, and my breathing became irregular. My head was spinning, and the corners of my vision were beginning to dim. At some point, my lips had gone totally dry. He was having an anxiety attack. Oh my gosh.
どうかしました？岡部さん。
Kurisu sounded worried. That voice software must be pretty good if it could handle nuances like that.
彼の専攻は脳科学ではないわ。だけど私たちの研究にとても興味があるんですって。
そうなんですか。
レスキネン教授も気に入ってるみたいだし、いずれは私の助手にでもしてやろうかと思っているところよ。
What a huge turn of fate. We're now the assistant. My head snapped up in surprise at Maho's bizarre statement. Me? Maho's assistant? Then I'd go to Victoria University?
あら、お気に召さない？
お気に召すとか召さないとかそういう問題じゃなくて、
ま、冗談だけれどね。
冗談？
もしかして本気にした？
信じちゃいない。
I wasn't going to tell her that I almost did.
そう。でももっともっと勉強してくれればあながち冗談じゃなくなるかもしれないわよ。
仮にそうだとしてもレスキネン教授の助手がいい。
This was my way of getting back to her.
教授の助手って思っている以上に大変よ。あの方は本当に子供だから。
As she spoke, she quietly came over next to me and tapped me on the arms a few times. I see, so that was it. She was making a joke to try to calm me down.
悪かった。ありがとう。
何のことかしら？
I didn't think subtlety was her thing. Maybe I was wrong.
先輩、ちょっと。
Kurisu beckoned to Maho from within the screen in a very human manner.
ん？何？
もうちょっとこっち。スピーカーに寄ってください。
Maho moved her ear close to the speaker. I was just thinking about how weird it was when...
は？
Maho suddenly turned bright red and shouted at the screen.
そんなわけないでしょ。何を言ってるのあなた。
そんなに照れなくても。
照れてるわけじゃないわ。とにかくおかしなことを言うのはやめて。
そうですか？
そうです。
一体何の話を？
It was obvious that Kurisu had whispered something to Maho. What did she say? Maho glanced at me. Oh, I wonder if Kurisu is like thinking that we're dating potentially. And for some reason, she blushed and turned away. Oh, I see. From the way Maho was acting and what I knew about Kurisu, there was only one possibility.
このスイーツかっこ笑い目。
Mainstream woman. A derogatory term used to describe women who subscribe to a way of thinking incomprehensible to men. Such women are supposedly influenced by mainstream culture as promoted by women's magazines. Some claim that this term is used by men to justify their lack of success with women. I whispered a name I had often teased Kurisu with, and suddenly felt a lot better. She must have said something stupid like, "You two make a good couple," or "You finally found a man, huh?" The way she looked at a boy and girl holding a friendly conversation and immediately assumed they were dating was just like the Kurisu I knew. Sheesh, what a system. It didn't need to be that true to her personality, did it? I chuckled. I wonder if this Kurisu also browses ad channel when Maho and the professor aren't looking. Knowing her, definitely. She's probably commented on the threads too. At Channel, fictional, Japan's most popular anonymous message board, covers a wide variety of topics from cooking to anime to current events. Its catchphrase is, "Everything from hacking to tonight's dinner." I remember Kurisu once browsed at Channel on the Future Gadget Laboratory's computer when she knew nobody was around.
ちょっと入ってくるときはノックぐらいしてよ。
クリスティーナ、お前はやるべきことをサボって何を見ていた？
おい、 そのあーこれはひどい、はいはいワロスワロスみたいな笑い方はなんだ。
Ruffle-mao. Alright. Net slang, short for rolling on the floor laughing. Variants include ruffle-mao, rolling on the floor laughing my ass off, and rufflecopter, like ruffle but fused with a helicopter.
案ずるなクリスティーナ。いや、アットチャンネラークリス。
その呼び方はやめて。
俺はすでに気づいていた。そう、とっくに気づいていたのだ。お前か。アットチャンネラーとしての匂いのようなものがプンプンと醸し出されていた。
Yeah, rufflecopter. You've never heard that before? It is a thing.
失礼だな。
A very old thing, yes. I'm dating myself, but rufflecopter.
そういう意味ではない。俺が言っているのは魂レベルの話だ。だが隠そうとするとはいじらしいな。アットチャンネラークリス。
その名で呼ぶな。
I feel like the art style absolutely changed. This Kuritsu feels so much more docile and just like soft. Your soul's power level, huh? My silly remarks seem to have a much deeper meaning now. She is, right? Was the girl in front of me one day going to, like Dr. Leskinen had said, become a real artificial soul? When that happens, what are we supposed to call a soul that still existed in this world after the body was gone? Oh. That question is giving me serious Citizen Sleeper vibes and Soma vibes. Not dead or alive, but something in between. This wasn't science anymore, it was philosophy, or maybe even religion.
バカな話はここまでにしましょう。岡部さんだってこんな中身のないことを聞きたくて来たわけではないわ。
そうやってごまかすところがますます怪しいですね。
ウイルスをぶち込むわよ。
Oh, that is a very effective threat.
嘘です。もう言いません。
Kuritsu quickly bowed her head. I bet back when Kuritsu was still alive, she had conversations like this with Maho every day. I'm sure Dr. Leskinen had a lot of fun watching them. It was actually kind of cute.
お騒がせしてごめんなさい、岡部さん。彼女と何か話してみる？
ああ。
Maho offered me the seat in front of the PC. Kuritsu's face was on the monitor right in front of me. When our eyes met, she smiled a little. I didn't know this was how she treated people when she first met them. But then I remembered that my first meeting with Kuritsu in the Alpha World line went about as badly as it possibly could have. I realized that her prickly attitude towards me could have been unusual for her.
どんなことでも聞いてください。可能な範囲でお答えしますから。
そうだな。
This wasn't good. I was remembering every moment I had ever spent with Kuritsu. I couldn't think of what to say. Hi, tutturu! Hi, Tate. Welcome in. Tate. Welcome in. Happy Steins Gate 0. I hope you're doing well. Happy Wednesday. And then the next words that came out of my mouth were...
タイムマシンは作れるだろうか。
That was what I had once argued about with Kuritsu on another world line. In the end, I lost the argument completely.
はい。
え？
You're doing Gucci. Excellent. I'm happy to hear that.
タイムマシーンですか？
何の話を始めるのかと思ったら いきなり何？
ただのテストだよ。思考実験ができるかどうかっていう。
どうクリス？
そうですね。結論から言ってしまうとタイムマシンは可能ではない。けれど不可能とまでは言い切れないといったところでしょうか。
That wasn't what she originally said. I know, it's Christina. Don't we love her?
最初に結論を言ってしまうと、タイムマシンなんていうのはバカらしい代物だということです。
That's what Kurisa had said in the Alpha World line. I remember that well.
俺はタイムマシンなんてバカらしい代物だと思うけどな。
I remembered our old debate and decided to repeat what Kurisa had said then.
そう決めつけるのは早計ですよ。
Interesting.
そうかな。確かに世界中の科学者がタイムトラベル理論を提唱している。主な理論だけで11あるが、どれも仮説の域を出ない。しかも理論同士が矛盾し否定し合っているものまである。例えば宇宙ひも理論やワームホール理論。これらは思考実験としてはタイムトラベルを可能にするが、そもそも宇宙ひもだのエキゾチック物質だのどこからどう探してくればいいのか見当もつかない。つまり現実的ではない。
This was also something that Kurisa had told me in the Alpha World line, but the Kurisa on screen was unmoved.
それは科学者がまだ重大な何かを発見できていないからでしょうね。
She's much more open-minded. I wonder if it has anything to do with the fact that she's existing in a different form now, and that fundamentally is a different experience. I don't know.
それじゃあ君はタイムマシンをいつか作れると思っているのか？
Hi! Wild American appears. It's the American. Thank you for the resubscribe. I really appreciate it. Burb! How are you doing, Burb? Are you having a good Wednesday night?
不可能とまでは言い切れない。そう言いましたよ。
She winked. I mean, I guess the old Kurisu does wink too. You are, that's great. What's for dinner? I imagine you're either having dinner or have had dinner or planning on making dinner. What's for dinner? Yeah, her opinion was slightly different. Was this because I'm in the beta world line, or perhaps?
なあ、ヒヤジョーさん。彼女は自分がオリジナルの記憶から派生した存在だということは認識しているんだよな。
もちろん。
じゃあうまい例が思いつかないんだが、一卵性双生児みたいなことはあるのか？生まれた時は見分けがつかない。だが育つにつれて差異が出てくるとか、そういうことを。
Taco Bell, yum.
それについてはまだ検証中だけれど、蓄積されていく記憶が異なれば当然元の人間とは違うものになっていくと思うわ。私と教授はそう考えている。
そっか。
It was then that I heard the door on the other side of the partition slam shut.
ん？教授かしら？
の大きな足音はそうじゃないでしょうか。
I could definitely hear somebody stomping around outside. And then after a heavy knock, the door to the booth flung open.
ウィンターロー
I don't know why that's so funny. Nintaro. That's like a very good phonetic transcription of how to pronounce Rintaro in English. Rintaro? The professor opened his arms wide as he came inside. He grabbed my hand and began waving it around. I hadn't realized he was this friendly. He gave you a hug when you met him. He seemed to think he was giving me a handshake, but it felt like I was being worked over by a pro wrestler.
Hey boy, what's up? I'm fine, thank you. And you?
Anyone who learned English as a second language, that's a meme. That's a whole meme and a half. It's like if you don't know what the other person is saying, or like automatically when someone greets you, the automatic response is "I'm fine, thank you," and you.
Okabe-san, ひどい英語ですね。
Please don't do that.
黙れクリスティーナ。
クリスティーナ？
Oh no, I was so focused on the professor that I used my old nickname for her.
なんでもない。気にしないでくれ。
気になります。なんで私がクリスティーナなんですか？
だからなんでもないというのに。
なんでもない割には動揺してますよね。
しつこいぞクリスティン。クリス。
Kurisu and Maho both seemed lost in thought.
クリスティーナって呼んでいたのね。
君もそこに食いつくな。
I didn't want any more questions about this. Since the professor was here, I decided to ask about how Amadeus's memory worked.
教授、アマデウスの記憶を外部から改ざんすることは可能なんですか？
But the professor wasn't listening to my question. He seemed to be frantically searching his pocket for something. Come to think of it, I didn't see that translator device on his ear. He must have been looking for it, which means odds are good he didn't even understand my question.
私の記憶の改ざんですか？理論上は可能です。
Kurisu herself answered in the professor's place.
例えば、私が自分の名前をクリスティーナであると思い込み、そう仕向けることもできるでしょう。
Oh dear.
ただ、普通のデータと違い、記憶データはとても複雑です。今のところ、改ざんに成功した例はないと認識しています。
Are we going to have like corrupted files of Kurisu? I think that would be so interesting if that's where we're heading.
仮に改ざんに成功した場合でも、私がそれに気づいて自分で修復してしまうでしょう。私は私以外アクセス不可の領域にログを取っていますから。
Much like IBN 5100.
つまり秘密の日記ですね。その日記と現在の記憶との間に不自然な齟齬があれば、私は高い確率で疑問を抱きます。さらに言えば、私の記憶データは定期的にバックアップされています。
Instead of time leap, we'll have changes to her memories. Wouldn't that be cool? Right?
自己修復が不能なほどに改ざんされたとしても復旧することが可能なんですよ。
It's intriguing. Yeah, I wonder where this world line is. I mean, we know that we're heading towards World War III, and we're heading towards Okabe, like trying to create a time machine, right? Like, but where does it start? What caused? Like, how did we dig ourselves of our current stage? And like this whole Amadeus system must, like the whole introduction of an AI as a topic in mechanical memories like this is like, I feel like it's too intriguing of a topic to let go of voice, right? If we're just gonna be doing the same things. So I wonder, I'm very curious.
最終バックアップから改ざんされた時点までの記憶はなくなってしまいますが。
そっか。
Regardless of the topic of discussion, it felt strange. What Maho had said before she loaded Kurisu was true. I was starting to feel like I was chatting with the real Kurisu. The way she wouldn't let you get a word in edgewise when she started talking about science was exactly like the real Kurisu.
しかし、興味深いな。
I turned toward Kurisu and spoke.
君は自分のことを機械として客観的に語ることができている。小説や漫画でよくあるパターンだと、自分は機械ではない人間だとか言い出しそうなものだが、
それは全くナンセンスですね。人間そのものが自分をハードウェアとソフトウェアの組み合わせとして語るじゃありませんか。医学とか心理学とかそういう名においてね。それとどこが違うんです？
And this is more of a philosophical, rhetorical question, but I just want to throw it out there. But like, you know, if we consider Amadeus to be intentionally a perfect replica of a person's personality and memory, right, as a starting point, then is making them aware that they are living digitally as a machine a complete change to the overarching idea, right? Like, I think I might function very differently if I know that I live in a matrix, for instance, or if I am aware that I am a machine, right? So I wonder how that concept, that realization has changed the Kurisu that we're speaking to and made her different.
なるほど。
さすがへりくつなら誰にも負けないわね、この子。
When she heard this, Kurisu turned towards Maho, her CG eyes big and round, though it was really just a camera sensor moving.
ねえ先輩、余計なお世話かもしれませんけど、口が悪いのを少し直した方がいいですよ。せっかく春が来そうなのに嫌われたらどうするんです？
No. We like you. We don't like Maho.
だからその話に戻るのはやめなさい。
けど私にとっては今一番興味があります。
一番どうでもいいことでしょ、そんなの。
これが人生最後のチャンスだったらどうするんですか？
あなたこそその口を改めなさい。
は
Dr. Liskinen was clapping his hand together and laughing. I had to chuckle a little too. Afterward, the three of us, including the professor, talked to Kurisu, discussing technical subjects and making small talk. The next thing I knew, it had almost been an hour. It had been almost an hour. I actually felt a little sad when Maho told me that it was time to stop. In just a single hour, the strangeness I had felt about Amadeus had disappeared, and I felt like I was really talking to Kurisu. Dr. Leskinen stopped me before I left.
テストをやる気はあるかな?
Yeah, that's the only way we can get a little bit of Kurisu. I tilted my head when I heard about the professor speaking through the translator.
エムテウスにはタヤ散歩が少なくてね。うちの研究室の子たちを総動員してはいるのだけれどね。
とはいえ、アマデウスはまだ研究段階だし、誰彼構わず接触させるわけにもいかないわ。
そこでクリスの友人だったレインタロウにぜひとも協力してほしいんだ。
Rintaro. I remembered they had mentioned something about being a tester at the party. So this was what they were talking about.
私と教授はしばらく日本に滞在する予定なの。だからテスターをお願いするのはその間ということになるわね。あなたにしてもらいたいのはとにかくクリスと対話を重ねてもらうこと。具体的なノルマのようなものは特にないわ。気が向いたら話をするぐらいでいい。
Oh, we'll be talking to her.
ただ月に2回程度は私と教授にテスト経過の報告をしてほしいの。
それと申し訳ないけれど報酬は出せないんだ。そこも含めて考えてみてほしい。
Unpaid internship for exposure. Gosh darn.
俺は
亡くした友人をそっくりそのまま再現した AI と話をさせる。それは君にとってとても残酷なことだとは理解しているつもりだよ。
Would you want an AI that's perfectly identical to your lost one?
乗り気でないのなら断ってくれていいからね。
I wouldn't either, exactly. I feel like I would want to move on. Because it would never be replaceable, and you don't want to replace it. I remembered what it had felt like to talk to Kurisu. When the monitor was just about to turn off, this is what Kurisu had said. Let's talk again sometime, Okabe Rintaro-san. That's what I had hoped for when I came here, wasn't it?
やります。やらせてください。
I thought I was ready when I accepted a job, but I had never expected this. Phone call. A call from... She can call us? Oh no.
はい。
マキセですけど。
She has never referred to herself as Makise with us, as her last name. Kurisu was displayed on the screen. Yes, it was Amadeus. The app the professor had given me allowed me to access the servers at Victor Condria University from anywhere, 24 hours a day.
岡部さんからクリスの方へ呼びかけることができるのはもちろんだけれど、クリスの方からあなたに呼びかけてくることもあるから、その時はうまく対応して。
This I hadn't predicted. I never thought she would call me, or that her face would be displayed on the screen.
それともクリスティーナですけどって自己紹介した方が良かったですか？
No, that's so out of character. She looked really mad. I could guess why. I had gotten 8 calls from Kurisu and I had ignored them all.
事情はレスキネン教授や先輩から聞いています。だから最初に一言こちらから挨拶しようと思っていたんですが、まさか8回もイルスを使われるとは思いませんでした。
It's complicated, Kurisu.
なんで黙ってるんですか？
Talking to a realistic girl on my smartphone with so many people around was pretty embarrassing.
まあ、話す気がないならそれはそれでいいんですが。なんなのよ。せっかくいつも以上に人と話せるチャンスだと思ってたのに。バカみたいじゃない。ったく。
Oh.
いずれにせよ、テスト中は私はあなたといつでもつながっていますから。気が向いたらどうぞ連絡してきてください。こっちも忙しいので、あなたの連絡にいつも出れるかどうかわかりませんけど。
Man, what is this? More than that strangely polite, friendly Kurisu from yesterday. Angry, stubborn, more curious than anyone. The way she seemed to be constantly challenging you.
それでは、お邪魔しました。
I realized this really was Makise Kurisu. And that was the girl I had spent those 3 weeks with, Lab Mem 004, my assistant, Christina, aka Makise Kurisu. Her movements were a little more jerky than I had seen on the computer in Dr. Liskinen's office, but evidently that was because of the smartphone.
俺は
You gotta get better hardware for better waifu. This alone was enough to make me feel like my heart was being squeezed dry. I stood still, holding the smartphone tight.
じゃなかった。あかりん、どうしたにゃ？
ああ、今行く。
I thought to myself as I ran to catch up with the others. Maybe Dr. Leskinen was right, and this test would be a very cruel thing for me. But even so, in my mind, I was ready, starting to think about what I would talk about with Kurisu. You know, I feel like that section reminds me a lot of Her, the movie Her. She? Her? She? I don't remember which one it was. I think it's She. Or Her. I don't remember. Her? Yeah, the movie Her. But anyway, I'm curious to see how that evolves. Yazumaho was remembering. She was remembering the last night she had spoken with Makise Kurisu in person.
冗談じゃないわ。こんな大事な時期になんで私が。
That night, Kurisu was whispering to herself a lot. Mitochondria University's Brain Science Institute. Maho and Kurisu worked on the same room at the lab. Thus, Maho was forced to hear Kurisu's angry mumbling whether she wanted or not. A little was fine. But she had been acting like this all day, and it was keeping Maho from concentrating. She finally snapped and turned away from the paper she was writing.
ねえ、ちょっとクリス？
Long, luscious hair. English was the language most commonly used at Mitochondria University. When the other staff and professors were around, she'd always use English, but it was just her and Kurisu. Maho would often speak in Japanese.
いい加減にしてくれないかしら。
え？ああ、何がです？
うるさくて集中で
Kurisu stopped messing with her luggage and turned
で
around.
きないのよ。この論文、 明日までに教授に提出しないといけないんだけど。
もしかして私独り言言ってました？
騒音郊外で訴えてあげようかしら。
すみません。
Kurisu apologized and started to scratch the back of her head. Maho decided to calm down by standing up and going to the shelf where the research notes were kept. There were several books she needed for her paper, but they were all up on the top shelf. And Maho is tiny. I relate in that struggle. This must be someone's idea of a prank, she had said, as she stared up at the heavy book. She decided to try and reach for it, but no matter how she stood on her toes, she came nowhere close. Her tiny little arms seemed to her like dead branches waving in the wind. She bit her lip. After she had skipped grades to go to college and then come to work at this lab, she'd had more chances than ever before to hate her small stature. Whenever she walked outside after dark, the cops would stop her. Even with her ID, she couldn't get into bars, and buying medicine and alcohol at drugstores was a pain. The most humiliating part was that no matter where she went, everyone thought she was in middle school. Nobody believed her when she said she was 20. Everything in America was just too big.
撮りましょうか？
Kurisu noticed the trouble Maho was having and came over, but Maho was stubborn and decided to pretend nothing was wrong.
大丈夫よ。別に困ってなんかいないもの。
困ってるじゃないですか。
困ってません。
そうですか？
そうです。
でも私も借りていきたい本があるので。
Kurisu easily reached up to the highest shelf and grabbed the book Maho wanted.
背が高い人はいいわね。
いえ、私もそれほど高い方では。
How could you? Kurisu covered her mouth when she realized she had said something she shouldn't have.
ありがとう。助かったわ。日本で何か必要なものがあったら言ってね。送ってあげる。
はい。ありがとうございます。
Kurisu handed over the book as she spoke. And then suddenly her eyes went wide and began to sparkle.
ねえ先輩。今の話ですけど。
今の話ってどの話？
独り言ですよ。
え？おー。
It looked like Kurisu had come up with a new idea. This was a regular occurrence for Kurisu, and Maho was used to it.
それって自我の証明の一つになるんじゃないでしょうか。
Wouldn't that be proof of a self?
アマデウスの？
はい。
確かに。あの子がいきなり独り言を言い出したらびっくりするけれど。
No matter how advanced an AI was, it wouldn't talk to itself unless you programmed it to do that. And there was no need, or even a point, to a feature like that. If an AI started talking to itself, that might be a good indication that there was a self to talk to. But Maho hesitated to agree with her.
ここではめったなことを口にするものではないわ。魂は神が人間に与えたもうたものである。そう考える人たちが多いことを忘れないで。
そうでしたね。
Kurisu's expression dimmed. Kurisu and Maho were both treated as heretics in the lab, especially since they were both Japanese and women. And Kurisu was simply too talented. Nobody ever actually did anything, but a lot of the older scientists were definitely avoiding her. Dr. Leskinen was the chief scientist, and the fact that he liked the two of them was all that led them to do their research in peace. If the other scientists heard what Kurisu had just said, who knows what they'd do. Maho patted Kurisu on the shoulder.
まあしばらく日本でリフレッシュしてくることね。
それが納得いきません。
どうして？向こうの生活だって楽しいと思うけれど。
留学するなら大学院ですよ。なんで高校なんですか？
仕方ないでしょ。日本では年齢的にあなたはまだ高校生なんだから。教授の思いやりは素直に受けておきなさいな。
Maho remembered what Dr. Leskinen had said. Kurisu has a fragile personality. All the bickering in the lab is putting her under a lot of stress, and she's at her limit. It might ruin her as a researcher. That's very observant of him. It's very kind. That's what the professor had said. He was really worried about her.
それにもともと7月になれば日本に行かなくちゃいけなかったんだからちょうどいいじゃない。
はい。実はそれも憂鬱で。
秋葉原テクノフォーラムだったかしら？
公園なんて慣れてないし、何をどうしていいのか。
Oh, so she was the one who was supposed to give the lecture, but because she died, Dr. Leskinen and Maho went instead.
サイエンス誌に論文が載った以上、これからもどんどん増えるわよ。練習しておかないとね。
やだな。
Kurisu whispered to herself. Maho didn't like being around lots of other people either, so she knew how Kurisu felt. But there were a lot of scientists who wanted to be published in a major journal, then go on to give public lectures. And she had beaten out so many of them to win that honor, people were jealous. She needed to fulfill her responsibilities, even if just to shut them up. Maybe I'm not that much better, though. Maho silently laughed a little and hated herself for doing it. Maybe I'm just as jealous as they are. That feeling, which was a little like fear, was something that she always felt. The girl in front of her was just that different from Maho. Someone she could never reach, no matter how hard she tried. Someone who had surpassed everything she'd ever done almost instantly.
先輩?
Kurisu was peering into her face, confused. Maho felt flustered.
日本でお父さんには会うの?
She heard that Kurisu's parents weren't divorced, but that they were separated. Her mom was still in America and her dad was in Japan. After Maho said it, she had wondered if that was too personal a question, but Kurisu smiled a little.
実は父から招待状が届いたんですよ。
へえ。
夏頃新しい理論の発表会をするそうです。それを見に行こうかと思ってます。
新しい理論って？
Kurisu's smile changed into a small expression of consternation.
まだ詳しく聞いてないんですよね。相対性理論に関することらしいんですけど。
Oh, app. Short for application, a program that becomes usable upon installing it onto a certain OS. Theory of relativity refers to both Einstein's special theory of relativity published in 1905 and his general theory of relativity published in 1916, represented by the famous equation E = mc². The special theory of relativity is defined by the following axioms. Objects cannot travel faster than the speed of light. As velocity approaches the speed of light, the passage of time approaches zero. As velocity approaches the speed of light, length approaches zero. As velocity approaches the speed of light, mass approaches infinity. The general theory of relativity adds the following axioms. In the presence of large gravitational fields, the passage of time slows down. In the presence of large gravitational fields, space curves. In the presence of large gravitational fields, mass increases. Maho felt like she was hiding something, but didn't question her anymore.
とにかく気をつけて行ってくることね。お土産期待しているから。
Hi, Sam! How are you?
何がいいですか？
そうね。せっかく秋葉原に行くのだから、何か珍しいものがいいわ。秋葉原詳しいのよね。
なんでです？
Hello.
休憩時間によくそういうサイト見てるじゃない。
She's found out. She's found out.
まさかアマデウスが喋ったんですか？
あの子はそんなことしないわ。あなた、私が後ろにいるのに動画に夢中になってて気づかないことがあるわよ。
まさかバレていたなんて、自分のうかつさが憎い。
Kurisu actually seemed upset for once. This really surprised Maho.
先輩、お願いです。どうか他の人たちには内密に。
別に隠すことはないと思うけれど。
The idea of sharing a secret with Kurisu made Maho happy.
わかった。言わないでおくわ。
助かります。
Kurisu seemed genuinely relieved. Maho continued.
ねえ。あなたが日本から戻ってきたら、アマデウスが独り言をつぶやけるかどうか、二人で検証してみましょう。
I think we need to take a mental note of that. The speaking to oneself as a test for self.
はい。
Kurisu had a very happy look on her face. It was the face of a born scientist who loved to explore the unknown more than anything in the world. Her smile was as innocent as that of a child who had just been given a new toy. It was very beautiful. And it was one of the reasons that Maho liked the younger researcher quite a bit. But the promise the two of them made would never be fulfilled. In fact, they would never meet again. It felt like she was thinking about Kurisu more and more since she'd come to Japan. Maho didn't know if it was because she was in Japan or because she was talking with the Amadeus Kurisu more often. Or maybe, oh heck yeah. Oh, I'm so excited. On the 12th, right? So it's not tomorrow but a day after? Was it because she met the young man named Okabe Rintaro?
私の知らないクリスを知っている人か。
Thinking back, the first day they met, she'd broken down and cried right in front of him. It was something she didn't really want to remember. She chased the memories away out of embarrassment.
さては岡部さんのことを考えていましたね。
She snapped her head towards the PC monitor. Maho was in the middle of a conversation with Kurisu.
ええ、そうね。
She shrugged her shoulders and tried to ignore Kurisu's mischievous smile.
不思議だと思わない？レスキネン教授が岡部さんのことをあそこまで買っているなんて。2度しか会ったことのない相手なのに、あなたのアクセス権も渡してしまったし、あそこまで信用していいのかしら。
誠実そうな人でしたが。
そう？向上心があるのかないのか、少しつかみどころがない人だったわ。
Oh no. That just made me feel like maybe there's a dark side to the doctor?
好きなんですか？
Do we need to be concerned? Maybe we need to be concerned.
あなたね。
Maho brought her face close to the monitor and glared, but Kurisu seemed unconcerned.
別に取り繕う必要はないでしょ。昨日は本人の目の前だったから仕方ないにしても、今は私たち二人きりですし。
Kurisu may not have looked like someone who would, but she really enjoyed the sort of gossip. Maybe girl talk was the right word. Maho sighed and sat back in her chair. The creaking sound echoed throughout the empty office.
本当にそんな感情はないわ。岡部さんがどんな人なのかさえまだよく分かっていないのだから。
なるほど。まあそうでしょうね。
Kurisu let the matter drop. This bothered Maho a little.
ただ気になるのは。
何です？
いえ、なんでもないわ。
Maho had been spending a lot of time thinking about something since yesterday, to the point where she'd even put off her research. What kind of relationship was there between Kurisu and Okabe? What was Kurisu feeling in the days before she died? She would have liked to ask Okabe if she could.
先輩、私のオリジナルと岡部さんは知り合いだったんですか？
Perceptive. Maho shivered. It was as if Kurisu had been reading her mind.
どうしてわかったの？
岡部さんの話や先輩の反応などを聞いて判断しました。状況証拠を積み上げただけですが、証明しましょうか？
You can pre-download. Are we gonna have a stream like midnight? The moment the clock turns?
別にいいわ。あなたのことだから反証の余地もないでしょ。
The way they used words like proof in normal conversation showed that both Maho and Kurisu were scientists at heart.
相手だけが一方的に私との記憶を持っているのでは、対話に齟齬が出てしまう可能性が高いです。
彼と話していく上でどうするのかはあなたに任せる。岡部さんの方から切り出してくるかもしれないし、なんならあなたから聞いてみてもいいわ。
Maho still didn't know if Okabe would even access Amadeus at all. They weren't forcing him to.
知らないふりをするというのは嘘をついているのと同じことになりますよね。興味深いデータが取れそうな気がします。
Yes, it was interesting. But that was her opinion as researcher working on Amadeus. How would Okabe Rintaro feel about it? Wouldn't it be rubbing salt on the wound in his heart? Maho realized she was getting much too sentimental.
やっぱり日本に来たせいなのかもしれないわね。
It'd been a week since she'd arrived. The first thing she had planned to do was offer flowers. but she still couldn't bring herself to visit the Akihabara Radio Kaikan, the place where Kurisu had died. All right, I think let's read the tips and call it a day. Akihabara Radio Kaikan, an 8-story commercial building located in front of Akihabara Station, nicknamed Rarikan. It contains lots of computer and hobby shops, and on the 7th floor is a plaque reading, "The birthplace of personal computing." We gotta save. We save, override, and we save. Anyone I can raid? Who's on? I'm also taking suggestions. If there's anyone who have a good suggested channel I could raid. Ali Peach Senpai. Oh, Elden Ring. Well, that'll be fun. Yeah, let's go. All right. Well, as always, let me get it started. Thank you to everyone who stopped by. I appreciate it. I hope you guys had fun with Steins Gate Zero. We will continue on Friday, even though I know some of you guys have more important things to do on Friday, which I totally understand, but we will continue on Friday. And until then, please take care and stay safe. Thanks again, Wild, for the resub. I appreciate it. And, have a wonderful time doing whatever you may be doing until next time. All right? I'll see you guys then. Have a wonderful one. And thanks again for spending time with me and hanging out for tonight. Have a good one. Bye, guys.